So that is our thing. But Church 2819, I said that right, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, but Philip Anthony Mitchell at the helm got an eviction notice, and yesterday he couldn't even preach. He was like, my heart is too heavy to preach. And so he just basically went before his congregation, let them know exactly what was going on. And so,
And they have a limited time as well.
yeah, and they also had limited time because in their rental space, now that there is an issue, I guess the city or the county, whoever is, mandating and regulating this whole situation, saying like, hey, y'all got to be out of here by this time or else we're coming and shutting it down. But let's hear what he had to say to his congregation about this whole situation.
But there are powerful forces who are not followers of Christ. And they do not feel what we feel. And they do not believe in what we believe in. And they are working overtime to shut down these gatherings. They are here today. Some of them are in this room, they're in the building, they're in the street. City officials are here today. There are people up the street in the housing development who are making phone calls every week in the city. Karens up the street that are working overtime
Karens.
with the city with
Karens.
lies to put us out. And just this week, they try to give us 60 days to leave this building. We had to fight them off because we had no place to go. And they don't understand that Jesus is doing something, and they don't care. And they're here today, and they're everywhere on this building. They're in the campus. Some of them are sitting in the room. They're in the parking lot. They're outside. And I don't know no other way forward. As we're standing on the seashore, there is an army behind us from Pharaoh, which we cannot go back. And there is an ocean in front of us that we have to cross. And I don't know no way forward but prayer.
Power of prayer.
Now listen to me. If we don't come back to them with a plan in 30 days, we will not have a place to meet. And we have contacted every venue in the city of Atlanta, every arena that can seat 6,000 people, every college, every university. We've contacted every theater. We have full-time real estate agents. We've knocked on every single door. We've spent hundreds of thousands of hours banging every door, and none has opened except one. There is an old facility in Greenbrier. It is old, it is dilapidated. It belonged to an old church that is no longer there, and that is the only door that is rested. It is the only that can seat 6,000 people, every college, every university. We've contacted every theater. We have full-time real estate agents. We've knocked on every single door. We've spent hundreds of thousands of hours banging every door, and none has opened except one. There is an old facility in Greenbrier. It is old, it is dilapidated. It belonged to an old church that is no longer there, and that is the only door that is rested. It is the only door that is open to us. It belongs to some Jews that stripped the church facility and turned it into a storage, and they are the only ones willing to give us a space for this many people to gather.
Amen. Yeah. So just some heavy stuff, right? They're the place that they are meeting at, that they've been accustomed to, that they've grown by leaps and bounds in. Now they have, some Karens, as he calls them, basically trying to get the place shut down because maybe they're, tired of overflow parking, creeping into maybe a residential area. I'm not sure all the ins and outs, or maybe even the sound and the noise. And I'm sure that they don't just gather on Sundays, even though I'm sure that's their largest gathering, but I'm sure they have stuff throughout the week. But you actually attended the church back when it was called Victory Live, correct?
Victory Church.
Victory Church, right?
Yep, I
Back
sure
in college.
did. Back
So
when I went to school.
yeah, tell us about your experience then and seeing Philip Anthony Mitchell, every week.
Oh, it was so good. It was so good. So transformative. Just like anyone that just hears him preach, like I don't know how to explain it, but it's just like it just was everything that I needed at the time in school, and just like trying to learn more about the Lord, learn more about my walk with Christ, just because the way he teaches is like the word. Like there's no extra stuff. Like it's just meat, and I needed the meat. And yeah, that was just like a very transformative time for my life because it helped me learn what it means to read the word. It helped me learn how to pray and apply, not just like all the words and things like that, but like applying it to my life and practically being able to do that. So that was like the start of all of that. So, and fasting too. Like I never knew the concept of fasting, honestly, and like how to do that, but that church helped me out. So it was great. Everything I needed. Thank you, Lord.
Yeah, and I've heard several sermons from him just online and stuff. And from what I've seen, he's, and I've seen a couple podcasts where he's been on, I think the Perrys and, a couple of other people as well. And he's a guy who just wears his emotions on his sleeve. He's just going to tell you exactly, how he's feeling in the
Yeah.
moment. He's going to show you how he's feeling, but he's also going to give it to you as honest as he can present it
Yeah.
in the moment. And so, you could tell he's just kind of wrestling with this whole thing. And so I believe he goes on to say that they need to raise because they're trying to, raise the funds to buy the building outright, right? And so obviously they've worked with, a lot of realtors full time. And so I guess this is like the only option that they've come to. And so it's kind of a sad situation, but they are, you can give to their church if you go to their 2819 website. I'll try to find that link and maybe link it in the description of the chopped up video. But yeah, it's some crazy things going on. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't necessarily see it as sadness. I see like hope there just because of like what he said. Like the only one place that is possibly available for them is a church that was turned into a storage facility by Jewish people to then become a new church.
Right.
So
And
I
it's
just feel
more
like that's
than,
so symbolic.
and it's more than capable of holding
Yeah.
everybody and accommodating, the whole church and the capacity that it's at now, as well as, them growing into the future, which is, is a beautiful thing. But also, he's mentioning the whole Pharaoh thing, like basically when the Israelites are forced out and you can't go back essentially because you have this army behind them. And it's almost like God is, forcing them
Yeah,
to
that's
grow.
what I was thinking.
Right. They're forcing them to move because, hey, don't get comfortable in this spot. I know you've seen growth and you're excited about this growth, but hey, I got bigger and better
Yeah.
things in store for you. And you may not have, you may not you may not see where you're supposed to go next. And so I'm going to explicitly lay it out for you. Like, hey, I'm putting you in pressure situations so that we make sure that you're pushing forward.
Yeah.
Because what happens when, they get out, when Pharaoh's army's no longer chasing them, but then they have a new destination they're trying to get to, then they just start roaming around in the wilderness for a while. And so it's almost like you need that pressure from
Yeah.
God in order to grow in a lot of situations. So, yeah.
Yeah, I just a good reminder, like that God allows things to happen, and even though it sucks and it's hard and no one really knows what's happening, all things are done for His good, and I'm just very hopeful, and I think things will work out just fine for them.
Yeah, I believe so too. We want to know what you believe. I don't even think we're gonna go over our question because I don't even think we need to. But yeah, we want to know what you believe down in the chat. 2819 Church